We're kicking off season 2 of Adventures in Apparel Decorating in Style. We're going to be the suburbs of Music City, USA, home of the Tennessee Titans, country music, and Nashville hot chicken. So let's get this party started with my good friends at Southeast Impressions. Sometimes adding a simple step to a process can add tremendous value to an order. We're at Southeast Impressions today to learn firsthand how to do that using metallic foil on the JERZEES Premium Blend t-shirt.
It started with Mom and Dad back in 1996. They went to an entrepreneur fair in Nashville, and they saw this little black box, and it did one color screen printing, and they bought it, and they saw a need in Lebanon. And they started from there in a little shop with a one color press.
Right, so you basically grew up in the business.
I grew up in the business. I was 12 years old and Dad would pay me $1 to screen to come up in here and wash screens on the weekend, and I'd go through 50, 75 screens, and I thought I had a ton of money.
Right, and you don't have a ton of money now?
I still don't have a ton of money.
So your customers are mostly walk-in traffic and B2B. Who do you sell to?
We get a lot of walk-in traffic actually in Lebanon, Tennessee. It's not a far drive from Nashville. We still get a lot of people from Nashville. 28% of our business is contract customers. We try to stick around that number. We don't want to go any higher. We do not have an outside sales team. We have one guy who sells to a niche market, but most of our people are inside sales. We have 25 employees, and in my opinion, I have the greatest team in the country, and I put them up against everybody.
Oh, that's awesome.
I learned a long time ago that as bad as I would like to try to do everything by myself, you can't. So we started finding quality people and surrounded ourselves with good workers, and we get a lot done. Today we're going to be printing foil on a JERZEES Premium Blend shirt. It's a 60-40, but it has a lot of the feel like a tri-blend shirt.
Yeah, it's really soft, and we're going to be doing some foil, so talk about that technique and how we're putting this art together.
So the foil that we decided to go with, we have a Nashville Skyline. We're going to use 2 colors that we'll actually use foil resist in, and printed adhesive just to give the Nashville and the guitar to make it pop off the shirt.
And so the adhesive goes where you want the foil.
Correct. So under the foil there is actually, it's printed in adhesive. You can use regular Plastisol ink. Foil will stick to that. We like to use adhesive because it lasts a little longer when you wash them.
I'm here with Morgan Rotenberry, who is the graphic designer here at Southeast Impressions. Let's talk about the design real quick. So what was your inspiration and how did you create this? This is awesome.
Ben just told me to do something with Nashville, and I tried to put in a little bit more of modern Nashville. Tried to incorporate that and of course country music.
I really like how the design is kind of in perspective and it comes together right in the middle of the shirt with the guitar and the word Nashville. And we're doing those for this design in foil. So when you're building the file, do you do anything different as far as from the art perspective for the foil part?
Not really, we just have to be sure and note that it's foil because in the back they have to mix something with it for that foil to actually stick to the ink. So in our print files, always at the top of our art, it'll tell you where it's going and what color it is.
How long did this take to design?
This one, I would say about 3 hours.
Foil will stick to any ink. So today we're going to be printing with 3 colors. The foil additive for the adhesive in head 1. We have a navy we're going to lay down, and we're going to lay down a light gray. So in the navy and the light gray, we have to mix the Plastisol ink with a foil resist additive, which will make the foil not stick to it. So when you're mixing, it's very important to get this to mix well. You want to make sure all your resist is mixed pretty thorough throughout the ink. You're going to see a little color change. It shouldn't be much, but make sure you mix your ink well. If you're mixing by hand, I suggest stirring for a while. If you got a power drill or a mixing machine, use it.
I'm with Jesus Vega, who is a screen printer here. Tell us about the job that we're doing today and how you're going to set it up on the press.
We're going to be using a 3-color, using the foil with the foil adhesive. We'll set it up as our first screen with the foil adhesive. Then we'll have to flash it. From there on, our other 2 colors will go wet on wet. We'll be just using foil resist on the last 2 colors, so that way the foil doesn't stick to the 2 colors that we're using last.
What about putting the adhesive? It goes in just like a regular ink, right?
Yes, and we'll have to just add it, mix it with the ink, so that way you will be able to still see the color that we'll be using behind it.
So when you register this job, how long does it take to set up?
About maybe 30 seconds to 45. Okay. Probably the most, probably a minute, but right. We'll go with 30 seconds.
And that's because you use the Tri-Lock?
The Tri-Lock, correct. That's a big change. That's a life changer right there for all of us.
And so it's pre-registered in the screen room.
And it makes our life much easier. It saves a lot of time.
If you're doing multicolors, I would put the foil adhesive in head 1 or before a flash. That way you can flash it and keep the heat off the other colors you're doing. Another hint, if you're doing a black foil, a red foil, you can mix that color in the adhesive ink, and that way if your foil don't take to the whole design, you still have the color behind it. You get into the rose golds, the antique golds, sometimes those are harder to match. Today we're using a rose gold foil, so matching a color is kind of difficult, so we're just going to print the adhesive and let it go.
All right, so it looks like we've printed all the shirts and we're getting ready to apply the foil. So give us some tips about what you're doing now.
Yeah, so now the fun part really begins. The shirts are printed. You always want to check your settings on your heat press. We run it at 12 seconds at 320 degrees with medium pressure.
Some shops might have different settings because it's different humidity, different shirts, different product. How do we know what to use?
You have to test it and figure out what's working for you. We know these settings because we've done this multiple times, and this is what works in here. You will notice that different foil colors stick different. Some peel really easy, and some you really have to pull off the shirt, and they seem to stick to the shirt a lot differently.
Right. So when you're doing production, how much time do you allow for this step? Because this isn't just you're printing them, it comes off the dryer, we're putting it in a box. Now we have this whole extra step that we have to do. So do you factor in stuff like that when you're looking at your production schedule?
Yeah, so we give usually 10, 15 extra minutes to run this because we know we're gonna run a test shirt at the beginning, and sometimes it won't work and we'll have to make changes and go back. We like to run a test print in the middle of production. That way we know we're getting the same results. So we pre-cut our foil, we have our settings right. Now it's time to actually apply the foil to the shirt. We always load our shirts long ways on the pallet. And why we do this is if you stretch out this foil adhesive, the foil doesn't seem to stick as well. So when you get into your smaller shirts, your tank tops, if possible, you just want to lay it on top of the pallet and make sure it's flat. That way you're not stretching it out and that adhesive is able to work the way it's supposed to. So we're going to rub it. You can do this with a t-shirt. You can do this with, I like a rolling pin. Give it a couple shakes and we're going to peel hot. What you're going to notice when you're doing foil, there'll always be a point on the logo that gives you the most issue. So what you want to do with that part of the logo is make sure you rub it a little more and you want to peel from the opposite side. My first shirt, my E in Nashville, gave me a little issue. So I'm going to make sure to give a little more pressure right there on the E. Roll the rest of the logo. This time I'm going to try peeling from the bottom side. You see how labor intensive this process can be. You actually have to print the job just like any normal 3-color job, and then you have to come over and heat press each shirt for 12 seconds. By the time you end up rolling it and peeling it, you probably have 30 seconds added into each shirt. So if you can get 1 or 2 done a minute, you're moving pretty quickly. But that's the part of this process that adds value and at the end of the day adds money.
So a great way to add more value to the order could be using 2 different types of foil. So in the original, we were using rose gold, but now we can use silver and we can have 2 different types of foil with the same color shirt for a greater effect. So another great tip is this Jerzees Premium Blend ring spun shirt holds more detail for simulated process jobs, or in this case, the adhesive. It really allows you to have better control just from the shirt blank alone.
So just like switching colors, we can also change texture. What you can do is you can take your foil and wad it up. If you have a design that's kind of grungy, old looking, you can wad up your foil and give the shirt a different texture. You can see the difference in this bottom one of the foil that I wadded up. It gives it a little texture where the top one that we've been doing this whole time is a little cleaner in the design. I used to freak out when we get busy and I look for any help. I'm sure you know how that goes. And I really concentrated in the past year on trying to find good quality people to come in here. It makes work fun. I think everybody in the building would probably say they enjoy coming to work here every day. I look at it as we are a family back there. We have fun, we cut up throughout the day. It's not serious, get this done. They know how to do their job and I trust them to get it done.
So we've been here all day and Ben hooked me up with one of his trademark hats. It looks awesome, I think.
It looks great on you.
Let's check out the shirt. This Jerzees Premium Blend shirt is really super soft.
It's a 60-40 blend, but it feels like a tri-blend when you fill it.
And look how the metallic foil really shows up on the shirt. It really catches the light. And I think this really makes this design really pop.
The foil can be a step that adds a lot of value to the shirt.
So Ben, awesome day today. Hat tip, it was really fun.
Yeah, it's been a fun day. I hope to see the hat in the next episode.
Don't forget to subscribe to Jerzees' YouTube channel for the next episode of Adventures in Apparel Decorating.